Hello and welcome back. It is now June 22nd, so one day past the longest day of the year, and also Harv's birthday, so make sure you call him and tell him happy birthday, although it'll be a week late by the time you see this. But let's take a look and see what's going on in the fields out here today. Talking with the guys from Farming Smarter last year, they used an interesting word to describe dryland canola fields like this, which was stagey. And I think that's a really appropriate word for canola conditions this year, and certainly sounds a lot better than some of the other alternatives that I have used. But taking a look here, you can see we are right on schedule basically for last week of June for bolting and starting to flower. So those most mature plants are starting to bolt, but you can see we also have lots and lots of smaller plants in various stages that are still getting battered and beaten by wind and weather, but they are growing nonetheless. You can see we did also spray in crop in here last week, and it is having a good effect. Now that we have some canola bolting, our herbicide season on this canola would pretty much be closed. Dryland yellow peas are sure looking real nice this morning. As you can see, we are starting to bloom in this field here. We got quite a few open flowers. So this is pretty much first bloom. So this is ideal timing to get a fungicide down here. So I really like to use a fungicide with a strobilurin in it first thing in the season in peas, and follow that up with something else later on if needed. Right now I'm not really seeing any sign of disease in these dryland peas, but we're going to hit them with Diax here from BASF this week, and that'll keep them protected for a little while. Well, lots of the barley is sure developing pretty nice. This field is in flag leaf, or really in boot stage here right now, and really looking pretty good. But once you start looking into the canopy, you can see on the penultimate leaves here, we do have some blotch forming. Right now it looks like spot blotch, but once we look farther down, you can see that it is kind of coalescing into net blotch. So there's both net and spot in here, as well as some spots of scald that you can see. There's also, you can see just how much disease is present on some of those lower leaves. There's quite a bit. So definitely we need to keep an eye on this field. Probably smart approach to be would be with the severity we're seeing on those lower leaves, to hit this with a flag leaf timing fungicide, something like Miravis Neo or anything along those lines. Dryland wheat is sure looking a lot better this week. It is, compared to the barley, relatively disease-free from what I'm seeing so far. There's very little disease pressure in that lower canopy. There's the odd spot, a tan spot here and there, but overall for right now looking pretty clean. And hopefully it stays that way. If we can hold off on a fungicide until head timing to take care of fusarium, that would be much preferable. Well, gophers just keep causing damage in canola, and the staginess of a lot of the dryland canola is not helping the situation at all. You can see we got a beautiful stand over here, and then here just gophers. There's a few families living in there now. There has been bait put down for them the last couple of weeks. It has dropped their numbers down, but they are still there and still feeding, just fewer of them. Speaking of baiting, if you are using strychnine bait, the season for that is now over. As of June 15th, I believe they shut the season on that. So don't get caught using it out of season. You know, they ban it often enough. We don't need to contribute with more reasons as to why. If you're ever wondering what these really annoying birds are with the long bill that buzz you as you walk around in fields, that is a curlew, and they can be a little aggressive if you get close to their nests. I've actually had to batter them away with sweep nets before when they become a real pain in my butt. But I'm out here in this stagey canola field. We had just sprayed this last week with the new Liberty AMP, and having some pretty good results on here. You can see lots of this kochia was, you know, about 6 inches tall when it was sprayed, and looks like we've gotten some very good control on it. And now we just need this canola that was late emerged to hurry up and fill in and cover it over so that we don't have a second flush, because of course the better canola in this field is now starting to bolt and will be flowering relatively soon, which pretty much takes us out of the spraying window. Beautiful morning out here on Tuesday. My dryland wheat trials here, my biostimulant trials, are at flag leaf. So today I'm going to take the chance to come in here and hit all these with their flag leaf timing products. So giving a quick overview of those products today is going to be Nature's Aid Super Crop as a biostimulant. We've got ATP Fortify, which is a fertilizer plus a biostimulant. Active Grain Fill, fertilizer plus a biostimulant. Oh, can't forget the New Farm Pro Alliant in here, straight gibberellic acid. From Syngenta we have Yield On, which is an amino acid product. From Alpine we've got F18, which is a fertilizer and biostimulant. From Iara, we have their Safe K, which is a potassium product. And from Earthstrong, we have Flexi, which is a kind of a micronutrient product here with boron and everything in there. So if you guys want any more information on those products individually, just let us know. We're pretty familiar with them. Here in this mustard field, we sure have a nice stand of mustard compared to just a few weeks ago. It's doing pretty well. This field did get sprayed with Centurion about close to 2 weeks ago now. So you can see we do have some wild oats coming up in here. This field was treated with Fortress, but some has gotten through the Fortress. So now that it's been sprayed with Centurion, we should be seeing some damage in here. So when we pull out that newest leaf, it should come out really easily, just like that one did. And you can see that stem, or that growing point there, is pretty much totally torched right off and brown. So that means we've killed that growing point. So even though that plant is still kind of somewhat green, we have pretty much killed that growing point inside the plant, and it's only a matter of time before it goes down. So right now it's looking like we've really got a pretty good kill on these wild oats. I am not seeing too many that are showing signs of survival, so I think we've got her pretty good. Well, it's that time of the year again, lots of silage starting to come off. So this fall rye has been cut, and behind me is the silage chopper processing that down into silage before it gets ensiled. So looking pretty good here, should be a pretty good yield. Heads were not really filling yet. We were not even quite in milk stage yet, but there should be some pretty good raw tons regardless. Now, prior to these fields being seeded into oats or barley for the second crop, it is advisable, especially in areas like this where you can see in that under canopy we had a pretty thick carpet of lamb's quarters. A product like DB878 and glyphosate can work really good and won't really have any sort of carryover that could affect oats afterwards. Products like Blackhawk, you got to be careful. Anything with 2,4-D in it, and oats do not always get along. You got to give it a few days between application and planting. But DB878 should do a good job cleaning up a bunch of this stuff, as well as any patches where there's kochia. Irrigated canola is sure looking good this week. As you can see, it is starting to bolt, but not really consistent yet. If it was all like this, I'd be in here sweeping for bugs, but most of it, these heads are all still quite short and in the leaves, so it makes it very hard to sweep for cabbage seed pod weevil. But that is the bug that we need to be concerned about at early flowering. Probably from this stage, I'm going to guess we're probably 10 to 14 days away from fungicide timing, which would also be the ideal time to spray for pea leaf weevil. So I guess we will see how that develops as time goes on. Now, this is a Roundup ready canola, so there is some kochia in here that we were not able to control, but hopefully the canola will crowd all of that out. Well, a few canola fields like this one on irrigation starting to see first flowers, so that's kind of nice to see. I'm going to start sweeping here, check out what the bug situation is. Generally, when we see first flowers across the field, depending on the weather, it's probably going to be 7, maybe 10 days away from ideal fungicide timing, depending on the product we're using. So, gotta keep an eye out on it. My main concern with the dryland fall rye right now is not the main stem heads, which are looking really nice out here, but once you get down into that canopy, you can see we have a whole lot of relatively small tiller production down here. Lots and lots of new tillers, and that's coming because weeks ago, before we got the rain, this crop was very, very stressed, so it didn't produce a whole lot of tillers, and that's why you can still kind of see down the rows here. But now that we've got really good moisture, these plants are producing a pile of tillers. This happened down here last year as well, and what ended up happening was 2 separate stages of flowering and head production. The main stem heads were all fine, but those tillers, nobody basically sprayed a fungicide for the tillers, and we ended up having terrible high ergot levels, which made the crop almost unusable. It all had to be cleaned. So we can spray a fungicide to protect from ergot. There is a few fungicides are registered for that now, including like Miravis Ace. So that's actually what we did in this field. We just sprayed the main stem heads, just a few passes along the headlands, see if that'll make a difference in the field. Today I've got my summer student Eric with me. Say hello to everybody, Eric. Eric is now out of school, so he'll be with me periodically through the summer, which sometimes means I'm going to have a cameraman. Today I'm checking out kind of an interesting mystery field. So this canola field is up on a very dry exposed hilltop, and it has some really interesting patterns. You can see the field is actually seeded east to west, so that's the direction of the seed rows, but you can see we have patterns running the other way. Clear as day, not so much from the ground. From the ground it's a little harder to tell, but from the drone pictures you can really see that north-south pattern, which corresponds to vehicle traffic from harvest last year. So I think what we're seeing here is we had good moisture conditions in the soil at harvest time. What you're seeing is compaction patterns. And what that has done is it's basically trapped moisture in those layers. So where the vehicle traffic was here in these tire tracks, we have a better stand because there was more available moisture. And then the seeding rate with the fertilizer in this field was spicy of a fertilizer mixture in the seed row. And what you're seeing is these areas with higher retained moisture are handling that higher salt level a little bit better, so we have a better stand. And then combined with that, there's actually evidence of a bit of cutworm feeding. But cutworm feeding typically makes a really big oblong pattern. When you see these straight lines, that's usually something man-made, not attributable to cutworms, right? Why would cutworms leave a single strip running through here? So probably nothing to do with cutworms, although cutworms are or have been certainly present in this field. Really, it looks about on par with many other dryland fields in the area, which is stagey at best. Here we're in another canola field by same producer, and I'm seeing the same problem. This is even on irrigation, so it's not showing up nearly as severe, but when you look down this way, you can still see some pretty clear patterns. And with the drone from the air, it's still very clear exactly what has happened here. So this is basic. I'm going to say most of the blame here would go towards heavier than recommended fertilizer rates with the seed, combined with that drought stress early in the season, is what we're seeing here. Where the compaction is from last year, we have higher retained moisture, which increased seed safety. But even as it is, I mean, most canola stands out here are not great this year, and this one is just one reason why. All right, well, that's going to be it for this week. It is sounding like we're supposed to get quite a bit of rain here Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so next week I might be back to the gumboots and the raincoat, so we'll see you then.